Seeking a breakthrough, a visual guide to Ukraine's counteroffensive. Ukraine's counteroffensive has been underway for months, but the country's hope of a rapid and decisive breakthrough have long faded. Kiev launches the campaign aiming to recapture Russian-seized territory, especially in the south. But while there is a renewed sense of optimism, gains have been marginal and won at great cost. As Ukrainian forces prove vulnerability in Russian defenses, Moscow too is seeking to make gains and have been trying to advance towards the city of Kupiansk, a city is seized early on in the war before losing it a year ago. While it is impossible to get an exact real-time picture of the situation on the ground, CNN has been taking a look at the key battles of the latest phase of the war. The conflict so far. While Ukraine has struggled in its counteroffensive, it is important to remember the war is nowhere near where Russia's President Vladimir Putin wanted it to be either. When Russia launches its invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, it hoped to sweep across the country and topple the government in the matter of days. Those goals floundered floundered due to the combination of Russian hubris and stronger than expected Ukrainian resistance. After seeing Putin quickly withdraw his forces from around Kiev and elsewhere in northern Ukraine, the rest of the year saw significant victories for Ukraine in the Kharkiv region to the east and the Kherson region to the south. This year has been different, with troops from both sides bogged down in the slow-moving conflict with no clear end in sight. The current fighting is focused on the Ukraine's south and east, with the Ukrainian forces struggling to break through defensive lines. Russia has had months to prepare. Success means capturing a village rather than an entire city. The Southern Front. In the southern region of Zaporizhzhia, modest Ukrainian gains in rural areas have been hampered by Russian defenses. Moscow's troops have fortified the land with minefield, anti-tank ditches, traps, and trenches. The area is a major target for Ukraine, pushing deep into the territory along two main lines of counterattack would bring the chance of breaking Russia's land bridge between annexed Crimea and eastern Donetsk under Moscow's control since 2014. Ukrainian troops in late August secured the village of Robotin, a step that brings them closer to being able to use artillery against the strategic hub of Tokmak. But there is a long way to go. This is Zaporizhia, this is Tokmak, Melitopol, Donetsk, Mariupol. Ukraine has been able to retake some ground near the frontline town of Velika Novosilka. In June, in the second week of the counteroffensive, it liberated the handful of villages Neskuchne, Blahodach, Makarivka. More recently, it recaptured a couple more: Staromaiorsk and Eurochain. But progress has been hard. The Russian forces have launched a number of counterattacks. Velika Novosibirska bears the scars of a year and half of shelling, struggling to combat Russian airstrike on the town. Kiev has called on its western backers to provide the F-16 fighter jet and other air support. The town of Orikhiv has found itself caught in the firing line. While remaining under Ukrainian control, it is being pummeled by Russian airstrike with half-ton bombs that are landing frequently, sometimes 20 in as many minutes. Located 60 kilometers southeast of Zaporizhzhia, Orikhiv has been wedged between Kiev's troops pushing south and the Russian forces attempting to hold their position. Russian defense fortifications and trenches in the Zaporizhzhia region of Ukraine, March 4, 2023. Here also Orikhiv, Tokmak, Robotic, Kupiansk. Ukraine has been trying to hold the Kupiansk in the Kharkiv region. The city fell in the early days of the conflict, then was liberated last September as part of the lightning Ukrainian offensive, but now Russia is trying to capture it a second time. In August, Ukraine ordered the evacuation of city and the surrounding area, the largest such evacuation in months and the sign of the severity of the situation, although many civilians are choosing to stay put. For Ukrainian troops, Kupiansk is strategically significant to prevent Russia from gaining access to the nearby Oskil River, where it is much easier to cross than further south. Here is Kupiansk, Oskil River. Here. The Eastern Front. For now, the eastern city of Bakhmut is under Russian control following a grinding 9-month battle, while Ukraine continues to hold some areas in the southwestern outskirts of the city. An area view of Bakhmut, the site of the heaviest battles with the Russian troops in the Donetsk region, Ukraine, Thursday, June 22nd, 2023. Ukraine says the battle is not over, however, and continues to contest the city. In doing so, they are forcing Russia to bring in more troops to the area, pushing them away from other fronts. Bakhmut, here. Chaship Yar. Much of the Donetsk and Luhansk regions have been held by Russian-backed separatists for more than 9 years. Then they are 2 of 4 Ukrainian regions that Moscow declared it has annexed last September in violation of international law. The town of Avdiivka in Donetsk Oblast, which remains under Ukrainian control, has found itself on the front line of the heavy fighting. The town has been largely destroyed and most of its population has fled. Avdiivka, Donetsk, here. Makivka, here. The months to come. The clock is ticking for Ukraine, with the fall bringing worsening weather and even more challenging fighting controls. For political as well as strategic regions, the pressure is mounting on Ukraine to achieve a breakthrough. Kiev will want to as strong a hand as possible should peace negotiations ever happen, or if the so far solid support it enjoys among the West started the fray. While Russia has been pushed back since launching its invasion, it still has some advantages. The Russian army is significantly bigger than Ukraine's, and with Putin isolated by the conflict, he does not have to worry that a long grinding conflict will lose him allies. Russia may be able to cope with the additional fighting better, attritional, attritional fighting better than Ukraine. Whatever the outcome of the counteroffensive, it could be pivotal for how the war ends. The sources: the Institute for the Study of War with the AEI's Critical Threat Project, Brady Afrique, OpenStreetMap,